Hello beautiful people, it's Robyn Thomas here with Resemble Me by Robyn. Welcome back to my channel. On today I have a crochet install. This install I only use about a pack and maybe 3 ringlets from the second pack. So this crochet install is extremely light while also being still full on low density hair. So if you're interested how to create this look without using a ton of hair, then definitely keep watching. So for this install, we are choosing to do the Beehive method. As you can see, my mom's hair is thin on the sides and she has very low density hair. So this is going to be good because she doesn't want a lot of braids and she doesn't want a lot of hair added to her crochet install. So I don't have to have a lot of braids. I can make big parts going around and around in a circle, and it will fall over the sides where it is thin and still be nice and full. Here I'm showing you the hair we're using, which is Remedy Curl by Braid. Again, we have 2 packs. I'm only going to be using about 1 pack with like 3 or 4 ringlets. To secure her base, I'm just crocheting the hair in. I don't like to use any type of thread because I don't want it to be hard and like almost unnecessary. You know what I'm saying? Unnecessary hard takedown. So I'm just crocheting the hair through, and then I'm just going to go back and forth so that I don't have to add any additives to it. And normally also we would add braiding hair, but this time we chose not to add braiding hair. When she does her hair at home, she doesn't add braiding hair, or she hasn't been adding braiding hair, so I just chose to do what she kept doing. Before I go in with actually crocheting the hair, I do like to moisturize the base very well. So as you see me spraying my Roots Moisture Mist, you always want to do some sort of water base first because that's where you get your moisture from. Then afterwards you go in with your oil to help seal in the moisture that you're receiving from your water. And again, mine was my rose water mix. So I'm just going around basically in all of her parts and making sure I kind of saturate those parts with oil. This oil is actually a mix of my protective style oil, which is jojoba, grapeseed, and sweet almond oil, and then I just added some black castor oil to that to kind of thicken it up a little bit, which I think is really good as a nice moisturizer for putting or having the base for your braids. So whenever you're installing your crochet braids, for the back of the head, you want to make sure that you are not putting a lot of hair in. So I am going through and I am putting in one of these strands. Well, I split the strands in half. Sometimes I split it into 3, just depending on how thick the actual strand is. But I am going about a finger and a half length apart, just so I don't make the base of this too bulky. You don't want to do that because, one, you don't want the back of the crochet hair is already inexpensive. Let's just call it that. It's already inexpensive. And you don't want the back of it to get so tangled up on each other. And then 2, you don't want to run out of hair because you put so much hair in the back. Now, my mom, I already know how she likes her hair. She wants it cut short. So she doesn't plan on putting this in any type of ponytail. How we style her hair today is how she plans to wear it during the duration of this style. So I knew that I could get away with separating or spreading apart the curls as much as I did. My mom also does not like a lot of hair. She does not like for the hair to be like super big. So this really helps with making sure that she doesn't have too much hair on her head. So the back of the head the hair density back there is not a lot. It's not anywhere really compared to the crown and the top of the head, which is why you're able to get away with this. So I do this about definitely about to the ear, because again, I want to make sure that I'm not overusing hair, because you don't want to run out when you really do need to fill those spaces in at the top. I don't want to separate the pieces so much to where it does not give her these big ringlets that she likes in the curls. And I really just want to make sure that I'm not adding too much hair on her head. Now I'll get to the how I do the top, but before I get there, I want to explain when it comes to actually crocheting the hair in. So when it comes to hair that's like of a looser curl pattern or is a little bit more on the silky or softer side, you want to make sure that you are tying as many knots as you need to make sure that it's secure. So for some of these, you'll see me going in and tying the knots. A lot of the times, the bigger that the curl is, either the more knots you'll need to do, well, really, yes, the more knots that you need to do to make sure that it's nice and secure. And then sometimes you'll even see me taking one side of the knot or one side of the piece. Like after I've created this, I may take one side of it and split that in half and then tie that in a knot. What that does is that helps that knot not be able to go back through the hair because it's so soft. If you don't tie it enough, then it can slip out over time, just with manipulation of the head, with even laying down. If you're asleep and you're turning your head back and forth, it can happen over time. So you want to be sure to make sure that it is nice and secure in or inside or around the braid so that it does not come apart. Again, how I choose how I'm going to knot it is honestly up to what the hair piece tells me. If the hair piece says I'm fine with you just going and making 3 little rounds and then securing it, then that's what I do. If it says, no, I need you to make it a little bit more secure, then I'll tie just a regular knot. If it says, baby girl, that is absolutely not enough, I think I'm still going to come out, then I'll take one side of that, or after I've done that, right, tied it, looped it a couple times, then tied the knot, I'll take one side and tie another knot. All that's doing is confusing or tightening the crochet hair so that it doesn't come out. So as you see all around, I'm starting to get a little bit closer as I near her temple area. So for the temple area and the front of her hair, or about halfway, right, and especially around the temple area is when I'll start to make those much, much closer. So I know I already have in mind where I'm going to how I'm going to have her hair fall, because this is a beehive and she wants hair to fall in front of her face and along the sides. I know that I need to start placing these crochet pieces a lot closer together around those areas. So about the halfway point, so about around here is when I start to make those crochet or start to lay those crochet pieces a little bit closer together. Now you can see as I enter that one, they're probably a finger apart, if that, maybe even like a pencil, number 2 pencil apart. Again, you don't want to I'm only putting them closer together as I go up. So these aren't going to be stacked right on top of each other. But as I get closer to the top, most of those pieces, and you will see, will be right next to each other because I want to make sure that it's full. It is the fall time. It is super windy. It is super cold. That's going to help with the warmth, but it's also going to help that if the wind blows, for her braids not to be visible. You don't really have to worry about the back of the hair because the hair that's there is falling back and in between those spaces of the back pieces of her hair, if that makes sense. And so like I said, around the temple areas, because this is where the hair is thinner. And because again, when the wind blows, you don't really want to see anybody to see like the actual braids or whatever. So I like to do those a little bit closer. You also still have to keep in mind that, especially with clients who have like finer hair, like my mom has fine hair, her hair is also low density. Again, you don't want to stack them right on top of each other because you can add too much weight to the braid. Again, we did not add any braiding hair to her base. So again, you want to always make sure that you're not overdoing it, but you do want to make sure that you're doing enough to where you're keeping them where their braid base can be covered. Also, another thing, when it comes to the pieces of crochet hair that I'm putting in the front, I purposefully make those a lot thinner. So as opposed to the back where I only split it in half, I'll split the front into maybe 3 or 4 pieces depending on how thick those pieces are that's coming out of the pack. I don't want you don't really have to worry about disturbing the curl pattern too much with a curl that's looser like this. But if you're doing something like bohemian, which is a lot kinkier, whenever you pull those pieces apart, you can come across the hair becoming a lot more frizzy, and you have to keep that in mind whenever you're installing the hair. So right here is, yeah, I've only used half a pack of hair. I've only used one half a pack of hair. I wanted to show you all how spread out you can have that so that you can use a lot of your hair where most of the hair is, which is the crown area. Again, we are doing a beehive, and so you want to make sure that wherever that center is going to be and how the hair is falling over, you want to make sure all of that is going to be nice and covered. As you can see, I made it to my halfway point, and here again, I am separating the pieces into extremely small pieces, and I'm making them much, much, much closer together. Much, 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 much closer together. So basically, I don't want to be able to see hardly any of her braids, right? So I don't want to be able to see hardly any of her braids. And then when I go to add hair pieces or crochet hair pieces to the next row, those are going to fall in between the spaces that you have for the row prior, right? So making them close together, separating those pieces into very small pieces, so that you're not using a ton of hair, but you are also being able to make sure that you have enough coverage. For the pieces in the front, I make them even smaller. And again, it's a lot easier to do this with a looser curled hair like this wave that we have, as opposed to like bohemian and sometimes even water wave. I feel like, but I actually feel like, well, it really just depends when you get the water wave. I'm a go big or go home type of person, so I like the more of the bushy, almost afro-y, not necessarily untamed, but like already old look. And I feel like that works very well. But my mom, she doesn't like for it to be too kinky. She likes for the looser curl patterns. So separating these pieces is going to again help with coverage, but it's also going to help to not add a lot of weight to the area that I have the braids on. You have to always keep in mind you're adding hair that doesn't come out of your scalp. So yes, it is adding weight, but we want to make sure that we're putting the hair in or installing the hair in as safe as possible. A lot of people say, well, why if you have thin hair, or why if you have hair loss or whatever, why do you want to do that? Well, because sometimes people like to feel beautiful. Sometimes people like to like to switch it up. Sometimes people don't want to color their hair and they want to have some fun with hair colors. Sometimes people want to try a new style but don't want to commit it with their actual natural hair. Sometimes their natural hair isn't able to replicate hair weave, you know what I'm saying, which is why we love it so much. So instead of talking negatively about it, the best thing to do is find the safest way for it to be installed to where it can look good for the duration of the install, but it also does not compromise the hair. Now, for the client, it also is up to them to make sure that they are doing what they need while they're at home, not doing any styles that's creating other tension, and making sure they're keeping their hair nice and moisturized. And when their scalp and hair tells them that this is too much, to go ahead and take it out. You know what I'm saying? Even if you say, okay, well, I only want to have it in for about for a month. But if at 3 weeks your hair seems to be starting to hang a little bit, like sometimes with people who have finer hair, it's a lot softer. And whenever the new growth starts to grow out, it can start to get weighed down by the hair just because of their hair texture. You have to listen to it and say, hey, I know I want to keep this in for 4 weeks, but my hair is saying that I can't keep it in for 4 weeks. So I'm simply going to go ahead and take it out. And so I want to talk real quick. I haven't started putting the crochet on the lines that you see here. You remember when I crocheted her braid straight through? I did that on purpose. I did that instead of going around and just crocheting it around the braid. I did that because I want to be able to add crochet hair to those to that line. Basically what that does is that really just, you okay? Is that really just helps to also camouflage that, right? So around this area is where your hair starts to fall whatever way, right? So again, we're creating the beehive of, excuse me, we're doing a beehive crochet, which means the hair is going to be going in all directions, right, around the head. So basically I want there to be able to have some sort of anchor or some sort of place in the middle to where I can have that hair to fall. So having that braid there basically just helps me to add more pieces of hair so that whenever I separate it to make whatever the center of it is going to be, you won't see any of her scalp. So right now her crochet is complete. I am just adding more of those very small pieces to make sure none of the braid is showing in this. Again, you want to go really, really small so that you're not adding a lot of hair. So now that I'm done, I'm going to go through. I like it like this, but my mama be like, she don't like no hair on her neck, really, basically. So I'm just going to go through and I'm going to pull out the hair at the bottom. To make sure that I have it basically like detangled, right? And I'm just going to go through and I'm going to cut around it. Then you'll see me in a second go to tease the hair. And I like to tease the hair just so it can help that part to stay in place. So teasing the hair almost like tangles that area right there. And so I don't do too much of it, but I do like to tease it just a little bit. And I'm actually going to start doing that now because I want to make sure however I'm having the hair to fall whenever I'm cutting around her face that it's going to fall exactly where I want it to be. So as you've seen, I just teased it a little bit and now I'm just going around trying to frame her face a little bit. She does not like a lot of hair anywhere. So I'm just doing as she asks. I don't know if you can see her mouth moving a little bit every now and again, but she's telling me cut it, cut it, cut it. So I'm cutting it. So yeah, I'm just going to continue to do that until I have given her what she is wanting. And now here are the results. So you have a very full crochet that is lightweight. Again, I only used about one pack with like 3 ringlets. I really did forget to show you guys how much of the second pack that I used, but I did not use a lot. It's nice and it's full and it's not heavy at all. And she'll keep this in probably until I go home next month. And then we'll be doing something else with her hair. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. And I'll see you beautiful people next time. Peace and blessings.